Well, good morning to you, and I'm hoping you're having a wonderful and happy Sabbath. The, the topic today is I want. I want. And I'm thinking, where are we going with this? Jericho. I want Jericho. Have you ever heard of this? I want Jericho. As history would have it, Jericho has been destroyed. It was destroyed when Israel crossed over Canaan. But why, under the direction of God, was Jericho chosen to be destroyed? 400 years before, Abraham is told, "For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full." So why was Jericho chosen? It had been 40 years since the mighty Egyptian army had been drowned, right? 40 years since the parting of the Red Sea. Do you think word like this gets around? It had been a few days since the crossing of the Jordan River at flood stage. But why was it chosen to be destroyed? And if you have any questions concerning any of these things that are up here, see myself, Devin, Dave, Dan, whoever, we can help you with these. But the last one is, longer life would only give them more time in the lake of fire. Joshua 2, verse 1 says, "Now Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out 2 men from Acacia Grove to spy secretly, saying, 'Go view the land, especially Jericho.'" What are these 2 men considered at this point in time? They are spies. So why would Joshua, the leader of Israel, send 2, in this scenario, spies? What was he hoping to gain? What was he hoping to see? Was it a military advantage? Was it perhaps the ease of capture? Was it maybe food supplies? Why did Joshua send these 2 men as spies? What were they hoping to find? The rest of the verse says, "So they went and came to the house of a harlot." Is that what they were looking for? Named Rahab, and lodged there. These are spies according to chapter 2, verse 1. What was the attitude of the people in Jerusalem? Chapter 2, verse 8. "Now before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, 'I know.'" How does she know? How does Rahab know that the Lord has given you the land, that the terror of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land are faint-hearted because of you? So who is encompassed here? Everyone. However, she knows that the Lord, along with everyone else, Is it a secret? No. Have they crossed the Jordan yet? Well, that's coming up, but not quite yet. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt. Did they also perhaps remember the 10 plagues? What about the pillar of fire by night and the cloud by day? What about the manna? Do you think they heard about the manna? These wildering Israelites are covered in the shade. They are warm at night. They're fed. Their clothes don't wear out. Do you think all of these things they heard? Daily, mind you, manna. And what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites, who were on the other side of Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts melted. Is this known? It is very known. Neither did there remain any more courage in anyone because of you. For the Lord, your God, He is God in heaven above and on the earth beneath. Now, she knows that Jericho's gods are not active. She knows that Jericho's gods are make-believe because they see the evidence in how God is very active in the lives of the Israelites. They've got shade, they've got heat, they've got food, they've got protection, they've got longevity. What else does she know? Remember that incident on just the other side of the Jordan and Baal Peor, when the Israelites sinned, and how God also saw, or they saw, that God does not tolerate, even within His own people, an impurity. Do you think she heard about that as well? Being a prostitute. But just wait until they hear also of the Jordan stopping at flood stage. She goes on, now therefore I beg you, swear to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you also will show kindness to my father's house and give me a true token, and spare my father, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. So who is she concerned about? Just herself? Who do you pray for the most? Israel crossed the Jordan floodwaters. There was a circumcision that took place. Joshua goes out to be alone. And who does he meet? When Jacob went out to be alone and pray, who did he meet? When Abraham was out at night counting stars, who did he meet? And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, a man stood opposite him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, are you for us or for our adversaries? Are you a Republican or a Democrat? The question is again, why did Joshua send out 2 spies? That's what he called them there. Neither one, he replied. I am the commander of the Lord's army. Commander of the Lord's army. What is all of heaven interested in? With whom is the battle actually taking place? Is it the Israelites against those that live in Jericho? Exactly. At this, Joshua fell with his face to the ground in reverence. I am at your command, Joshua said. What do you want your servant to do? Then the commander of the Lord's army said to Joshua, take your sandals off your foot, for the place where you stand is holy. And Joshua did so. Is this any ordinary angel? In a way, that's kind of cool. If you think about it, when you are about to do God's work, who is coming to your aid? That His will be done. I have a question for you. Let's see if you get this right. Do you remember the sequence of who marched where around Jericho? Who went first? Do you remember? If not, it's about to be up here if you don't remember. It's no big deal. What's that?
Was it the man?
No, but close. Let's read. Now Jericho was securely shut up because the children of Israel, none went out and none came in. What is that called? Yeah, it's a lockdown, it's a siege, you could say. And the Lord said to Joshua, see, I have given Jericho into your hand, its king and the mighty men of valor. You shall march around the city, all you men of war. You shall go around the city once, that you shall do this, you shall do 6 days. And here we go. 7 priests shall bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. But the 7th day you shall march around the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow the trumpets. It shall come to pass when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, that all the people shall shout with a great shout. Then the wall of the city will fall down flat, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him. I want you to notice that last part. And the people shall go, which direction? Up, every man straight before him. And here it is. So it was when Joshua had spoken to the people that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the Lord advanced and blew the trumpets. And the ark of the covenant of the Lord followed them. The armed men went before the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard came after the ark, while the priests continued blowing the trumpets. So what is the sequence here? Who's first? What's that? The armed men. Who's second? The priests blowing the trumpets. Who's next? The ark, and finally, the rear guard. But these are all men of war. Except the priests. Well, they're actually the strongest. Yeah, I was going to say because if you think about it, it's like, who did Joshua send out? He sent out 2 spies. What was their hope? What was their reconnaissance? What was the purpose of sending these 2 spies out? What were they to recruit? What information? What were they to gather? What were they to relay? Now Joshua had commanded the people, saying, "You shall not shout or make any noise with your voice, nor shall a word proceed out of your mouth until the day I say to you, shout. Then you shall shout." So he had the ark of the Lord circle the city, going around it once. Then it came into the camp and lodged at the camp. Imagine what it's like. Not a word. Day 1. Day 2. Day 3. Day 4. What do you think the Israelites were thinking as they're marching? What are we doing? Is this the way you wage war? In silence? For a week. What were those in Jericho thinking? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? Rahab kind of gives you an idea. You've seen. We are terrified. We're faint at heart. But I know that your God is the real God. It's decision time, really. This is it. This is the finale. They're here for one purpose and one purpose only. What is your choice? But it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early, about the dawning of the day, and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. On that day only they marched around the city 7 times. And the 7th time it happened, when the priests blew the trumpets, that Joshua said to the people, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city. Now the city shall be doomed by the Lord to destruction, it and all who are in it. Only Rahab, the harlot, shall live, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the" what? Wait a minute, I thought they were spies. I thought chapter 2, verse 1 said they were spies. What kind of a spy is also a messenger? Think about that one. What was the purpose of God inspiring Joshua to secretly send 2 men to spy as messengers all of the land, especially Jericho? What were they searching for? Come on, guys. What were they searching for? Believers. Is there last one person who will come to salvation? That's the purpose of the spies, because no spy is also a messenger, unless you're working for God. This is what Jericho looks like today. Geographically, I guess it's not that big of a place. But look at some of the walls that are still standing, and as you dig down through the rubble, what do you think you should find? Look at the size of the wall. If you were to knock this wall down, it looks like it collapses over to the right. In which direction were we told that the Israelites were going to be entering Jericho? Go which direction? You would be going up. some of the pottery from that time. How long was the siege? No one was going out, no one was coming in. How long was the siege? 7 days. These are pots full of grain. Why would they be full of grain? Because the siege didn't last long. What is on top of these pots? Layers of ash. Why? Well, partly dirt, yeah, but you have a layer of ash as well. Why do you have ash? Because that's what God said to do, burn it. Notice more of the pots. What was the whole point of this? Matthew 1:5 kind of gives us a clue. Salmon, I guess that's how you say his name, begot Boaz by Rahab. Think about that for a moment. Who's Salmon? Who's his dad? And just think about this for a moment. Just think about this for a moment. You know that Rahab has been a harlot, and you're thinking, that's the woman for me. And tell me the truth. Who of us has not been Rahab? And they begat Boaz. Who's Boaz? Tell me about Boaz. Tell me about his life. He's older. Kinsman redeemer. An older kinsman redeemer who is marrying a widow, who has lost hope, all hope, except in God of heaven. And they begat Obed, who begot Jesse, who begets eventually Jesus himself. If you could choose your mom and dad, if you could choose your family tree, would you by the way, Salmon comes from, if you back up the other direction, through his lineage, Judah. Come to mind? He sees a prostitute, or so he thinks. It's funny how God has ways of saving and saving and redeeming and saving and saving. And Salmon says, yes, Rahab, that's the kind of woman I want. Someone who is willing to sacrifice all to follow the true and living Lord. That's what he has to see in her. Actively follows God. What does God want? Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How often, what does God want? What is the deepest desire of God? To gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing. See, your house is left to you desolate. What does God want? What does God want? O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who were sent to her, how often I wanted to seek and save the lost. Luke Now as he drew near, he saw the city and wept over it, saying, if you had known, even you, especially in this your day, the things that make for your peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes. For days will come upon you when your enemies will build an embankment around you, surround you, and close in on every side, and level you and your children within you to the ground. And they will not leave in you one stone upon another, because you did not know the time of your visitation. I hope you guys have a great week, by the way. Are we guaranteed next Sabbath? The question then really is, when is the time of your visitation and my visitation? When is it? I think it's this breath. Yeah. Did you know that once blood stops flowing to your brain, how long do you have? Oxygen supply. Glucose. 10 seconds. Very good. Not long. That's about it. Don't let it stop. The day of visitation was true for the Amorites. It was true for Jericho. It was true for Jerusalem, which was destroyed in 70 AD as they were surrounded and they were leveled. What does God want? This is what he wants. And the young men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers, and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives and left them outside the camp of Israel. What is the point here? Salvation. Exactly. Exactly. So the two spies are really two messengers looking to seek and save to the uttermost. We're willing to go and sacrifice our own lives, place our own lives at jeopardy, because if they catch us, we're dead men. But we're going to go in and we're going to see who was willing to give their life to God and lead them to safety. By the way, how did Rahab know that Israel was serving the true God? Yeah, character was one, yeah. Was there evidence in their life? Did they have a cloud? Did they have fire? Did they have food?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth? Did God intervene very miraculously in their lives? What does God want? What does God want? Right? You see the figure in the background? What's he doing?
Saving the lamb.
So now you know why there were two spy messengers. And he also says, I want you. Will you give your heart to Christ this morning? Again and again and again until the day of his return. Would you do that with me? Let's bow our head. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this story. Thank you for the illustration of how you care to seek and save to the uttermost. We ask, Lord, that you show yourself mighty in our lives. Not because we deserve it, because we don't, but because of your mercy and your grace, your character. And this is what you want. Take our lives and glorify your name, I ask. In Jesus' name, amen.